Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats and welcome UIC's Downtown Voices.
I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty in the moonlight overthrew ya. And she tied you to the kitchen chair. She broke your throne and she cut your hair. And from your lips she drew the hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Baby, I've been here before. I've seen this room and I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew ya. And I've seen your flag on the marble arch. And love is not a victory march. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. 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 Maybe there's a God above, but all I've ever learned from love was how to shoot somebody who outdrew ya. And it's not a cry that you hear at night. It's not somebody who's seen the light. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah, hallelujah,
I want to start off by saying thank you to all of you joining us in person and online tonight. This is a very special occasion. One of the best parts about my job is I get to thank people. UIC is a very, very special place. Our faculty, our staff, our students, our administration, and we're here to celebrate together a significant accomplishment. We successfully have completed our boldest fundraising effort in the history of the university, and we did that collectively. So in addition to saying thank you, it's important to say congratulations to all of you for what you did. All of us in advancement work every day to support the university's mission and the philanthropic goals to contribute to the success of our faculty, staff, and students. That's especially meaningful tonight because of the last 2.5 years and the challenges that no one saw presented to us 3 years ago. Everyone continued to be dedicated and loyal to the mission of the institution, coming in to campus, finding ways to support students, finding ways to support each other in the communities that we serve. And people continued to give, even when there were uncertain times at home, uncertainties in the economy, and our mission and our dedication to the work that we do is stronger than ever. When our university publicly unveiled Ignite, the campaign for UIC in 2017, it did so with an audacious goal of raising $750 million to propel the university's academic, research, and service missions, and to help our friends and support the causes that most align with our donors' passions. We've surpassed that goal, but tonight isn't celebrating the end of the campaign. For those of you that would still like to make another donation, it's important to say, we're still counting through June 30, so there's still opportunity to give, or if you know someone who hasn't given yet, please encourage them to do so. But thanks to everyone who has given back with their time, talent, and treasure to support the institution. We're celebrating this evening 50,000 supporters who've contributed over $750 million. Ignite brought record giving to UIC, including 2 of our largest, most significant fundraising years in our history, 2 years over $125 million. While the numbers are impressive, again, it's the pride and commitment and the promise for the future that is the significance of this campaign. Thank you for committing to the campaign in the ways that you have. The impact of your gifts will be seen and felt for decades to come and transform so many lives for the better. Stimulating student success, driving discovery, empowering faculty, and affecting positive change in our world. It's a little bit bittersweet tonight because the face of our capital campaign is leaving us. Chancellor Amrita inspired us all, set the goal, and inspired us all to try to attain it, and we passed it. Our greatest way to honor his legacy is to continue the positive momentum that he set forth for us to follow. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Chancellor Michael Amrita.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Tom, and congratulations to you and to the entire advancement team for the work that you have put together to bring us where we are today. Our alumni, our donors are the big stars. You are the support group that make the big stars shine and give them the opportunity to support us the way that they want to support us. So thank you all for the work that you have done. Congratulations. Let's recognize Tom and the advancement team. Well, I'll have more to say on the historic accomplishment of our campaign in a moment. I first want to welcome all of you who are joining us through digital methods here in Chicago and around the world, as well as those of you who are here in person. It's wonderful to see each other. Didn't we miss this over the last 2 years? It feels so good when we get together, especially in cases like this, to celebrate. I have a list of people that I want to recognize, and I'm not going to do this because everybody who is here today is very important and very significant in the efforts of this university and the system. I have to recognize my boss, the president of the University of Illinois system, Dr. Timothy Kalin, and also our partner in crime, the president of the University of Illinois Foundation, Jim Moore, is with us here, along with a number of board members from the foundation and board members from the UIC Alumni Association. I'm also delighted that we are doing this here, in one of UIC's newest buildings, the Academic and Residential Complex, or as it's better known by our acronym-loving culture here at UIC, the ARC. We are in the ARC today. And this 200,000 square foot building blends together student housing with state-of-the-art academic spaces like the one that you are here. You may notice that the tables in between, this is happening because immediately you can turn around, you can have a table of 6 and discuss among yourselves before you come back to listen to me. So this is a unique center. It has a tutoring center also, it has a collaborative work zone, several of them, study and recreation areas. And by the way, if you go up to the higher floor, the students who live in this residence hall have some of the best views of downtown Chicago. It stands as a symbol of UIC's commitment to provide a unique and dynamic student experience. And I'm glad that you are sitting in this classroom today. I hope some of you are jittery. There is going to be an exam at the end of the day. And by the way, you have your records, and we can alter your records in terms of academic performance. So be careful, because a lot of this stuff is going to be in the exam. Since I arrived at UIC in 2015, the UIC's alumni and supporters have always been inspiring as we witness the level of devotion and advocacy for our community. And these are really my favorite events, especially the Legacy and Leaders event that we are celebrating again in person tonight. In October of 2017, we officially launched 2 critical efforts to strengthen UIC. The ambitious $750 million Ignite campaign, which was at the UIC Pavilion at that time, and the establishment of the UIC Alumni Association. With an alumni population that is now at 320,000, we had to create meaningful ways for alumni to engage directly with one another and their alma mater, deliver programming to support their lives and careers, and harness the strength their collective efforts could bring to UIC. Some of you may question me and say, hold on a second, when I heard you for the first time, when you came here in 2015, you were not talking about 320,000, you were talking about 270,000. Well, there were 50,000 degrees that I conferred, or together with him. I shook hands, actually, during graduation ceremonies in the last 7 years. We are growing, and we are growing very fast. That's why we are at 320,000 right now. I'm rounding 319, but that's okay. Led by a dedicated and creative group of more than 60 volunteer board members, the UIC Alumni Association has launched various initiatives over the last 3 years in the middle of the pandemic. Some of the more notable efforts are the UIC Connected, which is a virtual network that they built in the last couple of years, offering a place for mentorship and career growth, especially for young alumni. The Alumni Admissions Program that started 2 years ago, which connects alumni with prospective students to promote strength and value of the UIC education and recruit them, by the way, to UIC, and the creation of the Legacy Alumni Coalition by the name of Moja, which is an affinity network engaging our UIC Black alumni. Of course, and this will come as no surprise, none of this would happen and we have not taken shape without great advocates. And the leader of that group, Bill Merchants, was the founding board chair of the Alumni Association, who I'd like to thank profoundly. And recently, Bill made the comment that the reason that he did this is because we convinced him that the founding board chair was unique and he couldn't resist it. For those who don't know Bill, and I don't know there are many that may not know Bill, he's a 79 business alumnus and a former basketball player here at UIC. In fact, he was the first scholarship recipient in UIC athletics when UIC became a Division I school and started providing scholarships to its players. He is an entrepreneur, a strong UIC champion, and he was the perfect choice to serve as the founding board chair of a startup as the UIC Alumni Association, a startup but with huge assets, with 300,000 alumni. Bill was not able to join us this evening because he's in Boston attending his daughter's graduation. But he recorded a video message about the Alumni Association's work and aspirations, and I think it's a couple of minutes that we are going to watch him on the screen.
Ignite. It was the spark that started on October 28th, 2017. The truth is, it took years of planning, hiring, organizing, preparing, and volunteering to make that spark happen, and then years of hard work to turn it into a reality. $750 million in gifts to UIC. What an amazing accomplishment. That sets the bar for our next campaign and for our next chancellor. I'd like to share a couple of accomplishments with you of the UICAA. We formalized guidelines to better manage our board. We created the Alumni Exchange Program. We grew our alumni board from 1 to 60 members. And to come, a membership and loyalty committee focused on reviewing and improving the benefits for all of our alumni. And 95% participation of our board on the most recent Giving Tuesday fundraising campaign. You know, many times we're asked, why do we give back? Well, 1, UIC helped us improve upon our family situations. 2, UIC enabled us to go into the world to do what we really love to do. 3, UIC improves with age, and you've got to come back to campus and you've got to contact some of these new faculty to really appreciate the improvements over time. 4, our students need our help. 5, the UIC faculty want our help. They want us to mentor, they want us to look at their research, they want us involved. And 6, someone at UIC asked us to help. In closing, please accept my thanks and gratitude for trusting me to lead the UICAA during its startup years. I also want to thank my board colleagues for all of the dedication and passion that they've brought to the work. I look forward to turning over the chair to Ed Cohen and Kel Lejeune in the coming months. And finally, go Flames in the Missouri Valley Conference.
I much appreciate the tremendous efforts that Bill and all of our UIC Alumni Association board members and volunteers devoted to our university. What they have managed to accomplish in these last 3 years, and through a global health pandemic, no less, serves as a testament to their passion for UIC and their spirit of service, which is the hallmark of this university. On the same night that we launched the UIC Alumni Association in 2017, we also introduced the new, at that time, $750 million Ignite campaign, the largest campaign in the history of our university. This was a bold ask of our alumni and friends, but we were confident that we could meet the target and we could succeed. Now, my confidence was based on what I knew about UIC up to that point, and was obvious by then that this institution has a unique fighting spirit. It has grit and tenacity, the tenacity of our students, of our faculty, of our staff, and the devotion of our alumni. So if our alumni have studied here, they will be able to do it. We are not a group that backs down from a challenge. And did you ever rise to the challenge? Having crossed the 750 million mark earlier this year, we are now approaching 780. And more than 50,000 donors supported UIC with 137,000 gifts. And those gifts came in all shapes and sizes and from all corners of the world. For this, we thank you. Please join me. A 137 of our Ignite campaign donors contributed 1 million or more. Each of these confirms that UIC is worthy of truly transformational investments. The list also includes the single largest gift in UIC's history, 40 million in unrestricted funds from philanthropist Mackenzie Scott, enabling us to create a student success fund to to support first-generation and low-income students. Each of these gifts confirms that UIC is worthy of these investments. Our alumni, faculty, staff, community partners, and even students donated as well, signaling their collective belief in the transformative power of UIC. Almost 36,000 donors gave gifts that they were below 1,000 or less. They prove that when you add all of this together, it counts. When you counted all of this together, this was approximately $18 million from this group. Ignite has contributed enormously to the access and excellence for which we are known, creating opportunity for eager students from every background and circumstances. This past fall, UIC's enrollment rose for the 7th consecutive year to a record number. Our number for this year was 34,199 students. We missed the one that would be 34,200 students to round the number. All-time high for UIC. So why are students choosing UIC in record numbers, especially when many other US colleges and universities are facing enrollment declines? It's because we provide an accessible, affordable, world-class education spared in no small part by your support. In fact, this campaign, you created more than 1,100 new funds to empower student scholarships in forms of scholarships, fellowships, awards, programming, 1,100 new funds to support students. In fiscal year 2021 alone, undergraduates received $50 million in scholarships, grants, fellowships, and traineeships, an undeniable push to so many of our students who come from working class backgrounds, work while they're attending school, or are first-generation college students. Without these funds, they wouldn't be able to go to college. Two newer programs that we have established over the last couple of years is the DuSable Scholars Program, a merit-based program that increases diversity among students pursuing STEM majors, and the Chancellor's First-Gen Flames Abroad Scholarship, which encourages study abroad for first-generation again and low-income college students. Both of these groups are funded in part by donations done during the Ignite campaign. Think of the eyes and minds we are opening with these two programs alone, and it's in part because of your help, for people who are here in this room tonight. Once on our campus, we're engaging our students in a culture of support with student success initiatives and services like advising, tutoring, financial aid resources, and wellness centers. These are necessary services for a number of our students who have issues that we need to overcome. They need these wraparound services. In fact, the Mackenzie Scott gift went immediately, the entire $40 million, to support a fund that will cover summer tuition, housing support, internship programs, and basic needs for low-income and underrepresented students. And if you're wondering what basic needs means, that means food insecurity. Every year we serve close to 1,000 students through our pantry which are suffering from food insecurity. And when the pandemic hit, we put out a call for you, for our alumni and friends to contribute to our emergency student fund. Even small amounts, they made a difference. We had more than 370 donors that answered the call, and we raised close to 200,000. And that amount made a world of difference to struggling students in an unprecedented, difficult time at the beginning of the pandemic, before the federal government came in to start providing funding for them. Support like this one is critical and empowers our students to excel in and beyond the classroom, get to graduation, and we had a wonderful set of ceremonies in person this last weekend and accomplish their goals. By the way, please come back and watch one of our graduations. It is a huge celebration not only of the students, it's a huge celebration of their families, especially for the first generation students as well. I'll tell you, I'll go off the script here for a minute. I was at the graduation of the University of South Carolina this weekend because my son was graduating. And I had been in dozens of these graduations, and I think it's a wonderful occasion. For the first time, I sat there And looking at the crowd, I thought, they're very quiet here. Chicago is very different. It is the joy and the celebration of our students and their family that makes our commencements unique. Research at UIC is fueled from undergraduate students all the way up to senior faculty, from the health sciences to the liberal arts and engineering, and your dedication to research shows in the nearly 3,000 new research funds that were donated during the Ignite campaign. The College of Engineering, its new Computer Design Research and Learning Center, if you can repeat this after me, you're better than I am. I call it the Computer Building. Expected to be completed next year on Taylor Street, will invigorate discovery in computer science and engineering, and in fields like AI, robotics. And while the majority of this project is supported by the state, donor contributions that they came for this building also have played a very critical role. Infrastructure and providing the right spaces for our students and our faculties are extremely important. Like the $5 million gift from alumna Christine Schwartz, who is here with us today, powered UIC to construct. Christine is right there. Powered UIC to construct one of the largest, best equipped, state-of-the-art nursing simulation training centers in the United States. During that month, we opened 3 simulation centers with supports from donors. Nursing, medicine, and I don't see pharmacy, and pharmacy also at the same time. With them, we have elevated the quality of education in the health sciences, and we are coming not only in the 21st century, but ahead of every competition that we have. Ignite funds also created new endowed faculty positions and exciting professional programs. Recruiting and retaining promising scholars to UIC is the most important action we can take to secure excellence in both in our educational and our research missions. There are almost 300 more faculty support funds at UIC today than they were in October of 2017 when we were starting this process. A number of named professorship and chairs supporting these faculty members. The soon-to-be-completed UI Health Specialty Care building was also made possible. You will see it on Taylor Street. You cannot miss it if you go near the hospital. Was also made possible with a 10 million lead gift from a dedicated donor, and will enable us to better accommodate increasing demand for surgical care. And now we are, as you realize, we are in the process of providing services, right? We're describing providing services. And another excellent example is the community legal clinics at UIC Law. UIC Law, by the way, did not exist when we started the campaign, but they're part of the family now, while we're closing the campaign. So the community legal clinics at UIC Law provide much needed pro bono legal services in our communities. 2 scholarship funds established during the campaign provide critical support to students participating in the clinic's programming, empowering students to gain practical experience through the legal clinics while they're serving the underserved in the different neighborhoods of Chicago. This is a stellar example of supporting students, connecting to our communities, and instilling a spirit of service into our students. Since October 28th of 2017, when we were at the pavilion and we were talking about the Ignite campaign has provided $262 million to drive discovery and advance culture, $119 million to propel student success, $60 million to empower faculty, $35 million to connect UIC to communities, and there is also, which is very important, a significant amount of funds which were shared without restrictions. And this empowers the school, the leadership of the school, to devote resources toward pressing and emerging needs, as we did with the fund during COVID, as we did with the Mackenzie SCAT Fund, and a number of others. I'm confident that because of you, our students, our faculty, our staff, our communities, and our world is getting better. The most exciting part tonight, however, is not talking about all of this, not hearing it from me, but hearing it directly from our students. So there are students here that they want to share with you their experience, and they're going to come up and introduce themselves. They're from different disciplines and at different levels, and I'm looking forward to listening to them myself and learning also. Lake, you're first.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lake Crowell, and I'm a graduate industrial engineering student here at the university. And I want to start by saying thank you. Before I speak on behalf of myself, I would like to speak on behalf of myself as well as the other scholars in which your donations have impacted tremendously. You all have enabled us to go a little further in this crazy world of college. As for me, growing up in a single-parent household in East St. Louis, Illinois, I knew that I wanted something more for myself than what I saw on a day-to-day basis. Back home in East St. Louis, the only way that I was known to go to college on a scholarship was through athletics. Now, don't let my height fool you. I may be tall and fit, but I'm no Lisa Leslie. I knew that from a young age, I was bright and destined for greatness. Although I never understood why my dad enforced academic success like he did, and he put us on punishment if our report cards had anything less than an A on them. Fun fact, I was actually talking to the Chancellor earlier and learned that he majored in chemical engineering, and I received the first C in my life here at college in chemistry. So it was very humbling experience for me. As I didn't understand it at the time what my dad did, but I very much appreciated how he instilled academic success through all of us. My family did not have a lot of financial stability. Between my three siblings and I knew that my father could not pay for all of us to attend college. I also knew that the only way to get out of East St. Louis for me was purely through scholarship. Because my academic success allowed for me to qualify for scholarships and grants, I was able to receive my bachelor's in industrial engineering from UIC debt-free. I've also gained a Thank you. I've also gained a multitude of friends, mentors, and family through scholarship organizations, which have made all the difference. Your donations are directly related to opportunity. A very special opportunity that without it, I have no clue where I would be, but I doubt it'll be on this stage before you right now. Your donations allow us to excel, so thank you for helping to be our driving force. We are in genuine need of more extraordinary people like you. Thank you endlessly.
Candidate at the UIC School of Public Health and Community Health Sciences. I received the KVITH scholarship, which has supported my dissertation research over the past year. I came to UIC 4 years ago, fresh out of my master's program, not debt-free, and determined to be the first in my family to pursue a doctoral degree. One of the reasons I chose UIC instead of the other institutions I was admitted to was because of UIC's reputation for community-engaged work. And I knew that I wanted to do community-engaged research in my department. And now I'm actually doing it. I research factors related to collaboration between local organizations and departments of public health. UIC is a great place to do that because of their connection, again, to community organizations and people who are embedded, involved, and active in the community, like yourselves. And I've learned so much from amazing professors, lecturers, and fellow scholars. As I began my journey as a postgraduate student, one of the themes that came up repeatedly was the need for funding. Funding not just for tuition, but for the research itself. And almost every single doctoral student worries about funding to do the research that they came here to do. And coming in, I knew that many students were funded on faculty grants or from competitive multi-year funding from the NIH or the NSF. And while getting funding from those large sources looks great and sounds great, it's not ideal for someone who aims to complete their program quickly. I knew coming into UIC, I wanted to complete my PhD in 5 years or less, and a large source like that wasn't feasible for my timeline. So when I came to UIC, I put my need for dissertation funding way down the timeline so I could focus on my coursework and my preliminary exam. And by the time I was ready to develop my dissertation proposal, the pandemic started, and whatever plans I had were just out the window. And so I shifted to do my work despite the pandemic with a relatively short timeline, but also with all of these new constraints. I knew that many doctoral students decide to analyze data that they don't collect just out of ease and necessity. And I considered this option. But as I reflected on what kind of research I came here to do and wanted to do, and the impact I wanted to have, I knew I had to collect my own data in order to pursue my true research interests. So when it came time to actually do my dissertation work, I was extremely grateful to have the opportunity from the Kvitz family to support the dissertation research in my department specifically. For my dissertation, I plan to do interviews with leaders of community-based organizations all across Chicago, get all of those interviews transcribed, and each one is about 30 pages, and analyze all of them myself. And I knew from my coursework and my previous research experiences from here at UIC that part of doing community-engaged research and part of making equitable means paying people for their time. And so with the funds from the Kvitz family, I was able to promptly start recruiting people to interview, purchase my software, get all of my interviews transcribed, and do my analysis. I was able to do what I came here to do without sacrificing parts of my plan or my study. And with that money, I've also been able to compensate the participants of my advisory board, who are professionals doing important work across the city. And the advisory board itself has been an important part of my research because they've given me their perspectives on my findings and feedback that I've incorporated into my final dissertation. If I didn't have access to the funds for my dissertation, my timeline may have been set back, or I'd be stretching with little resources that I had access to. But I'm really grateful to be defending my dissertation in about a month and graduating this summer. And I'm really thankful for donors like you who are able to support that work, to fill those gaps in funding that people don't necessarily think about when they're applying to graduate school. And I think about so many other doctoral students and researchers wondering how they will fund their dissertation, how they will fund their work. Or maybe undergraduate students or master's students who can't afford to do the unpaid internships that are required of their programs, as it is in public health at least. And it makes such a huge difference in the trajectory of students, as I have seen for myself, to have what may seem like a little bit of funds to you, but it means a lot to us. So thank you for coming, for staying engaged in what is happening here at UIC, and for supporting students like myself.
And congratulations, Dr. Grant. It must be very exciting. My name is Emmanuel Ortega. I am the Marilyn Thoma Scholar and Assistant Professor of Art of the Spanish Americas in the College of Art and Design and in the Department of Art History. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on my story. Soon after I was born in Los Angeles, my parents decided to raise me and my older sibling in their hometown, Ciudad Juárez in Chihuahua. A decision for which I will always be thankful. When I was on third grade, my mother spent part of the school year driving me to compete in aptitude exams that tested elementary school kids on everything from math to Mexican history. I took the first place at the school level and later won medals at the zone and district contests. During one of those competitions, my mom waited for me outside the classroom where I spent over 3 hours filling out this, now in retrospect, grueling academic tests. When I came out of the schoolroom, she recounted to me how upset she was. As she waited for me, one of the contestants' mothers told her how my chances to win were significantly higher since they most likely had money to buy me breakfast. The gender, class, and race dimensions of that situation are things that I still grapple with today. That experience, my grandfather's farmer's labor, my father's construction work, my sister's dedication, and my mother's incisive love and trust are privileges that I never take for granted. Then, when I was 13, my father, tired of crossing the border into El Paso, Texas for construction work every morning, decided to move back to the States. His hard work and focus on manual labor nos inculcó valores, instill values on us that define success beyond a college education. Nonetheless, my sister took the first step. Like my father, she began to cross the border every morning to attend El Paso Community College. My first insight into the value of a college education came not from an intellectual desire to achieve a degree in the humanities, but out of the work ethic my family instilled in me of accomplishing goals through labor and sacrifice. By 1988, we were living in Las Vegas, a city not necessarily known as a college town, where many Latinx people prefer a well-paid career in the hotel service industry than a path in higher education. My education in Las Vegas helped me appreciate the canon of European painting, which is a necessary step in understanding colonial Latin American visual culture, which is what I do. As a first-generation college student and the first PhD on both sides of my family, I knew it will affect my entire family financially. Fast forward to the spring of 2020. As the world was shutting down due to COVID, my contract as a visiting professor was coming to an end here at UIC. In order to request my permanent hire and secure private funding for my position, my then chair, Dr. Catherine Becker, procured letters of support from colleagues and 11 of my students to be sent to the college and to the Thoma Foundation, an institute created by Carl and Marilyn Thoma, whose central mission is to, and this is from their website, to lend and exhibit our works from their private collection to support innovative individuals and pivotal initiatives in the arts, end of quote. It worked. I received a provisional clinical position, and soon after, and due to the diligence of our director, Jennifer Reeder, 3 faculty of color, including me, were given tenure-track positions in the college. However, the months I spent contemplating temporarily leaving academia for a job as a barista, because that's all I know how to do, besides think, or any job that was to secure food on my husband's and my plates, allowed me to put many things in perspective. I was reminded that even at the disadvantaged position, the privilege afforded to me by my family would allow me to survive. That is the reason that I am thankful to the Thomas and UIC, because it allows me to pass that message on to similar students as once I was. My job is not only to impart the lessons that colonial art history allow us to learn, that is, the power relations that developed during the 300 years of Spanish occupation in the Americas, and the ways in which identification politics continue to mediate encounters between peoples and cultures. I also strive to make my presence in the classroom part of those lessons. An immigrant, Mexican, queer, PhD, who came a long way from those third-grade aptitude tests, and whose privilege is a product of that coloniality, but also a continuous struggle, contingent to the work and generosity of many. For everybody here, thank you so much.
Anybody that has the means to invest in UIC is putting their money to the best possible use in education.
The University of Illinois has done a lot for me, and I want to do a lot for it. It just seemed important to sort of give back to something that had been so transformational in my own life.
By getting the scholarship, I have been able to concentrate more in school. I'm a first-generation student. I never really thought that I will get this far.
The financial is a big piece, but it's not just the finance, it's the idea of building something like this.
To someone who's thinking about donating to UIC, I honestly think there's no better place.
Champions Network is a partnership with local high schools to empower high school students to become health advocates in their community. This program benefits not just the students, it benefits the entire community that they live in. All the donors that have made this Champions program possible, I want to convey my personal thanks for really changing the lives of so many people already.
The Urban Education Leadership Program is a model program for principal and leadership development.
It's really about giving students these tools so that they're better equipped to go out into the world. My training through the Urban Education Leadership Program trained me to keep a pulse on student outcomes.
I had heard that UI Health was the best place in the city to do transplants. It's a gift to feel like I've been through a very difficult journey in my life. My gratitude for people who donate to this program is very difficult to even express in words.
Financial support from the endowment enables me and others in the department to come up with ways to solve mysteries of the diseases that we study.
Having that financial support enabled me physically to be in a laboratory. I wouldn't have had the time to commit to doing research as an undergraduate.
We're chasing down wild and crazy dreams that a lot of times fit outside of traditional research funding mechanisms.
You can't push forward a hypothesis that everyone thinks you're nuts about if you don't have the support. It's just impossible.
It means so much to our students to know that people are thinking of us and thinking of the students at this university makes such a big difference.
I would like to thank them for just investing in my future and showing me that I am worth taking all these big leaps for.
I was able to pay some bills and some rent and really focus on the semester because of the scholarship.
Thank you for continuing to make UIC great.
Thank you for believing in the next generation.
Thank you for contributing to the best possible student experience.
Thank you for helping us reach our potential.
Thank you for believing in us and acknowledging that what we do is important.
Thank you for acknowledging, the unique struggles that I faced as an older student.
Thank you very much for investing in our lab and the university.
We can't thank you enough for caring about our college, our students, our patients.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your giving empowers the researchers and faculty members who teach us and train us.
You helped me to succeed in life.
What you do is incredibly important.
Thank you for all of your support.
Thank you for believing in us and your support.
Thank you for everything.
What an inspirational video. Thank you for all those heartfelt sentiments, and thank you all for your contributions this evening. Good evening, I'm Tim Colleen, President of the University of Illinois System, and boy am I proud of that role. All of our generous Ignite campaign donors, and thank you profoundly, and also to salute the momentum at UIC, and say a few words about Michael as well. Surpassing the $750 million fundraising goal, the largest ever, and it was a pretty scary number. Michael, you will remember when that number was broached. You actually pleaded for an extra year, and it wasn't to be, but we surpassed it in the time, thanks to Tom and your team, and to Jim Moore and your team as well at the foundation. What an amazing statement of support. And thank you to all the donors for, as the video said, sticking with us, believing in us, and inspiring us to continue this momentum that we built up. And of course, there's a huge debt of gratitude to our leader, Michael Amrita. This financial support opens so many new pathways for our faculty, as you've seen, transformative opportunities for our students to achieve success, to believe in themselves and their families and their communities, to shape their future in a productive, honorable way, full of integrity, here at home, around the globe. And this impact is transforming Chicago. It's transforming the communities of Chicago, the state, and beyond the world. And the connections to the communities that came out multiple times this evening, I think, is a really much a hallmark of UIC's approach. It's not about us, it's about service and support to society. And of course, along the way, all of these resources have built our faculty, they've built our students, they've enabled students to do things that they could only dream about. We've built facilities for learning, just like this one right here, dorms. We've created vaccines, mass trial systems that have saved many, many lives right here in Chicago. And the faculty that's studying Latin American culture and art, and so many things that are brought into life from your generosity. And just to say that I had the honor of going to 9 commencements, not commitment. They are commitments, but they're commencements, beginnings. Now, I believe there were 12 altogether. I went to 9 of them. 13, is that right? 14 commencements. And I can tell you, I was blubbing up regularly at these commencements to see these young people cross the stage, some with very high heels, some with not so high heels, but with a look in their eye of excitement and thrilling to be able to accomplish this passage. We started with pharmacy, we went to nursing, we went to LAS, to engineering, and a high point for me was the graduation of 370 new physicians for Illinois, probably the second biggest class anywhere. And if you can keep a straight face when the physicians make their oath, then you're a better person than I am, because that is so deep and profound. So this is what is being brought to life by UIC. And so the success we celebrate this evening is an impetus and an inspiration for the future. Now, I want to say a couple of words about Michael Amrita. This has been a huge team effort, but at our leadership, we've had a chancellor now for 7 years. He's my brother. Iro is my sister, I like to think, and we've been forged in the same crucible. I said the other day that we're both 0th generation immigrants from coastal Europe, right? Me from the land of song and pelting rain, and Michael from the land of the cradle of civilization and of heroism. But somehow we show up here in Chicago, and Michael projects this sense of who we are and what we need to be. He used the word grit. You heard it this evening. He also talks about the University for Chicago, and in the depths of the budget impasse, escaping forward, like not being stuck, escaping forward. And all of these are. And at the beginning of the pandemic, he also said something that was very important for the whole system, our whole system, 94,000 students, that at the end of this, we want to be known for how well we took care of our people, right? We never turned anybody away in our clinics and our hospitals, no matter what. No layoffs, no furloughs. We kept going, we kept open. Degrees got granted, 6,000 just last week at UIC degrees. So we're very, very proud of that. So UIC is in truly great shape, and I believe that you know that. It's moving forward assertively. It's part of a system that is transforming the state's future, is building prosperity without leaving communities behind. So we're closing gaps of attainment and opportunity at the same time that we're lifting society up through the generation and dissemination of new knowledge at scale. And of course, 34,000 students is a big number. We've grown by 16,000 students in the last few years, and we froze tuition so that there wouldn't be so much student debt going forward. So UIC is in great shape. We need you to continue to stick with us. This is still an ambitious experiment in public, research-intensive higher education. writ large with a service grounding in that. It's an incredibly important mission, and as I saw in the eyes, not just of the graduating students, but of the parents, and then the grandparents were puddles on the floor as their grandchildren were graduating this last week. It's important that we continue this mission and we stay grounded. And Michael, I have to say that there are two things I want to say. He wrote me a letter last week. It was a resignation letter, I believe, something about going to South Carolina, wherever that is. And I just want to let you know that I don't accept the resignation, Michael. I'm sorry if I can still do that. But I do want to end by teaching you a word. You've taught me lots of words, right? And we're now celebrating Ignite success, but also the apotheosis of Michael Amritas, right, which is a Greek term. Peter, we talked about that. There's a Welsh term I'd like you to, and it's related to all the things that you come up with, but it's one word, and it's hoil. Can you repeat after me? Hoil? Hoil, hoil. It rhymes with loyal. It's like a guttural H. What does it mean? It means a lot of things. It means courage in adversity. It means heart. It means soul. It means stick-with-itness, if that's a phrase as well. So all of the things that Michael has represented, and UIC really is contained in that Welsh term, hoil. So I want you to practice it, Michael, because you've never got my name right. You might as well work on this. Hoil, hoil. Hoil rhymes with loyal, and it's what UIC represents going forward. Thank you again for all of your generosity and your participation in this magnificent university that is not a fixer-upper. This is the exemplar of what public higher education needs to be, with full inclusivity, diversity, everybody welcome, and a commitment to excellence and progress. Thank you so much for having me this evening.
I passed my exam. When Tim talked about Welsh words, I thought it's one of these with 10 letters and no vowels. And I'm like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? No exam for you. We'll let the class go. But I want to repeat and close again with what our students, our faculty member, what Tim and what you heard in the video. 2 words. Thank you. Thank you, every single one of you, for what you have done and for what you continue to do for USC. We are grateful and humbled for your partnership. You have stood with us. You have rallied around our vision and our mission. You have supported our priorities, and you believed in our ability, the ability of this university to transform lives. I fully agree with Tim. I'm confident that USC's best days are yet to come. Thank you for your support, and please continue to take care of this wonderful and unique university. Thank you.